Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Okay, 8.3, it's almost upon us. It's pretty much a reset of BfA. I mean, come on, AP, diminished role, Azeroth gear's less important, Titan Forging is gone. So because of all this, today we're going to go through everything you can do to prepare for this patch, be it for the most power or how you can work towards a few of the 8.3 rewards today. So with that, let's kick it off. Okay, currencies first, right, service medals, they're not going to get you any new power in 8.3, but Blizzard are adding the Sandy Knight Saber, pretty gorgeous mount for 350 of them. Now, it's unlocked after completing Heroic Darkshore, but it still costs the service medal, so you may as well just go out and farm those. Now, just, do world quests in the Warfront Patrol areas. Next, doubloons. Hardly thrilling, but Blizzard are actually adding new boxes in patch 8.3 that cost 175 of them. Now, these have a chance of dropping cosmetics, theme based on the factions, including the random drop island mounts. And that actually means you'll now have a targetable way to get those mounts. Overall, I'd say that, yeah, that's the thing to dump your doubloons into. It's the only thing that'll really carry past this expansion. Okay, next up, mana pearls. They're not going to be that useful in 8.3 bar for one new thing. Rep tokens. Yes, Blizzard are adding BOA rep tokens, and they will cost mana pearls. Why are they doing this? Well, it's pretty simple. They will help you earn the ny'alotha reputation essence over on your alts. Now, of course, there are already BOA Rust Bolt rep tokens in game, so those are both things that you can work on now if, alt essences are a priority for you. And then finally, pet charms. Not thrilling for everyone, that is the case, but there are some new pets from the Uldum and Vale reputations. The reason I'm really a bit more turned on to this is that I also recommend getting a basic competitive pet battling team. Ones like Icky, the Zandalari Kneebiter, and the Unborn Valkyr, they're common top picks. Now, why would you do this? Why did I do it, not being someone who's normally into pet battles? Well, you can knock out pet battle world quests, they'll get your reputation, so it's kind of handy to have in patch 8.2. I did the final push towards Pathfinder by doing the legendary pet battles on Mechagon and Nazjatar, so there's that. Then finally, for the topic of currency, Blizzard are actually resetting Titan Residuum in 8.3, and that means there is zero reason to stockpile it. Spend it now because it will be reset. Okay, with the currencies ran through, let's talk about your characters. So, look, gear barely matters right now. Over in patch 8.3, there's going to be new 410 and 415 BOA bits of gear from the assaults, and they will greatly speed up your alt gearing. So, because of that, I wouldn't bother gearing up your alts now. Now, that said, if your main is like sub 380, yeah, just get some benthic gear, maybe a weapon upgrade, such as the one from the Korak quest if you hit it in time, just so you don't, enter the new patch with your character feeling really gimped. The core point here, though, is that catch-up's going to be pretty darn easy in 8.3, so I really do recommend you prioritize your efforts elsewhere. Where? Well, essences, obviously. Yeah, it does not seem like Blizzard making them account-wide, so 8.3 does add a few new ones for you to collect. It also rebalances a few of them, and it eases the acquisition of a select few 8.2 essences. Now, we're then also getting a new minor essence slot in the patch, and that does mean that depending on the balance of things, having a more robust library of essences will be a good thing for your character, because you'll be able to use more of them at once. Now, the Nazjatar and Mechagon reputation essences, they have had their requirements nerfed by one level of rep. And that means they're now friendly, honored, and revered. Then, as I mentioned earlier, there's also the BOA rep tokens for both of those factions that can speed up that process on your alts. Then the World Vein Essence has also been buffed by quite a bit indeed. Now, it's an island grind, so it's a bit of a pain, but I mean, you can get rank 1 and 2, I believe, within a week, just by doing your island weekly and getting all the stuff. Now, as for rank 3, well, rank 3 does require 3 weekly turn-ins, so you best get going in that one now. Then the likes of, say, the Ashara one, that might be a bit harder to get in 8.3 because less people are going to be running the raids. So, I mean, you could do that, but I can't see that essence being all that useful right now. Generally, though, just progress essences and focus on the ones that have got weekly requirements like the island one. Now, the Mythic Plus one is also a bit similar, right? It uses weekly resources from the chest, but remember this, Mythic Plus will be rescaled and rebalanced in 8.3 for the new season, and that means it will be relatively harder, than it will be now, right? So if you want to push a key high now, you've got all the 8.2 gear, you may as well do that now, it will be faster. So that's a brief bit on essences. Next, though, the heart itself. Artifact knowledge will start ticking up in patch 8.3, which will be pretty nice, but, most people will want to rush towards their next minor essence slot. That'll be a decent power spike. So you can do a bunch of things to get that a bit better, but it can be pretty try-hard. I mean, there's Paragon boxes, so your Paragon rep bar is a lie. It says 10,000, but the game actually records up to 19,999 rep, and you can track unpack that using the Paragon Reputation add-on. Now, the Paragon boxes have a bunch of resources, including artifact power, and this actually means that, technically speaking, you could max out that rep bar for every faction that you can. Then, come patch day, you could hand in each Paragon box quest, and if you got to 19,999 beforehand, then you handed in all your boxes, you'd be at 9,999 out of 10,000 rep for each one of the factions. Then you'd go do one world quest for all of them, and then hand in another wave of Paragon boxes. So yes, you could get two Paragon boxes for every single faction on patch day. But you know what? That's too much damn work for me, and I'm not going to be doing it. Past that though, there is a pretty easy one you can do for islands. So after completing your weekly island quest, you'll get a treasure map, and that spawns a war table mission. We all know that, we've been doing it for months. Now these can offer like many thousands of AP, so they are worth it. Now, the week before the patch, complete your weekly, but don't use the treasure map to pop the mission immediately. Only do that like a day before the patch. You see, that mission lasts for 3 days, so you can complete it once the patch is out. Now that will benefit, I believe, from 1 level of artifact knowledge, and of course the rest of, the artifact bar will be there, so yeah, it'll progress you along. Now, you can go a step further. 2 weeks before the patch, you can do your weekly and save the map, then you use that map a few days before the patch drops for the reasons stated above. So you do that, then you complete that week's weekly quest for another treasure map, and then you use that treasure map once 8.3 is out. That way, you'll actually be able to bring 2 treasure map missions forward into 8.3, and that will be a really good boost. Now, on the topic of mission tables, I'd say get a good bank of war resources on your alts and, level up your alts followers. Those island missions are a great source of AP. They'll rocket you up real quick, and, it's free AP, right? You can just get 500 of it from doing a random, a war table mission, and it will take like 15 seconds of your effort. It's a lot less than a world quest, so if you just want to get that bit over with, I would definitely recommend investing there. Then next, of course, you can do what we've been doing for many patches now, and that is to stock up your emissary quests for after patch day. How do you do that? It's pretty simple. In the 2 days before the patch, do your emissary world quests, but don't hand them in. Just hand them in once 8.3 is out, and you'll get them in 8.3. So that's the basics, basically, of just how you get AP done with efficiently, so that you can just get a leg up on earning that minor essence slot. So there's that. Oh, and also, do a high key mythic plus the week before the patch drops. Your weekly chest will be from the 8.3 pool, not the A2 one, so you may as well do that. Well, I hope you still love rep after doing all those PARAGON things, so you'll want to get exalted with the Voldunai and the Mechagon factions in order to get the 2 new allied races. Then 8.3 also adds heritage armor for the Worgen and the Goblins, so just, get them to level 120, get exalted with Gilneas and the Bilgewater cartel factions. Now, you can do that pretty easily by just carving your way through old quests, or you can also wear their faction tabard when you're doing dungeons, and that will also get you another stream of reputation. Next up, leveling. So Corax ends in like a few days after this video goes up, so if you've got the time, do it. You can get a 110 to 120 in 3 hours doing that, so a few days, that's more than enough to cap like at least a good few characters. Now, this likely will be the best leveling speed you'll be able to get until the Shadowlands pre-patch events, so if you want to do that, now certainly is the time. Next up, professions. So item level is actually going to mean a whole lot more in 8.3 because of the removal of Titan Forging. Now, that actually should mean that the new 470 crafted gear is a good bit more lucrative, so I think it's probably worth, speccing your professions so that you can make those if you're interested in the gear. Now, markets will also be impacted, of course, by this patch. I think the likes of Storm Silver will increase in their price because of their use in the new recipe. So, your Storm Silver, your Zenithad, your Sage Agates, your Ozamites, those things will probably spike up in price. You might want to pick them up now. Then there's also Expulsum. You'll be using a lot of that, obviously, so you want to get working in that. Then, of course, there's also the auction house revamp. I think the UI there being better might encourage a more efficient market. That could play with prices, but, we're just going to have to wait and see how that pans out. Then next up, we've got legendary transmogs, so it's going to be a thing in patch 8.3, so if you've got nothing else to do and you want to get ready for that, yeah, you may as well start, clearing Sunwell, clearing Black Temple, maybe working towards your Shadow Morn, your Fangs, or your Telegosa, whatever. There's a lot of stuff there. Technically, it's a pretty small change. They've just allowed you to do it, but in terms of impact, that's many hours of gameplay, so yeah, you can do that. Of course, with Season 3 ending, though, some rewards are going to be going away, so ahead of the curve for the recent raid, that's one along with its rewards, and the same goes for the PvP seasonal elite gear and mounts. If you don't have them now, to be honest, there's not much hope. You might be able to, but let's move on. So add-ons and UI, I would always recommend doing a passive or UI before the patch hits, lest you end up like me. You log in to play the new patch, but you actually get annoyed at your UI and you spend 3 hours fiddling around to get everything just right. So 8.3's corruption system, honestly, it's fairly self-explanatory in the base UI, but there's one thing for sure. 8.3 will just love giving you avoidable things in the ground. Be it your corrupted gear effects or the various, corrupted or sanity void zones in the horrific vision. So be sure to install GTFO and actually GTFO when the occasion calls. I'd also recommend making a weak auras, just weak auras alerts for the new corrupted effects, just to make them a little bit more noticeable, things like that. You may as well do it. Past that though, I imagine there will also be updates for handy notes to cover the new assault areas. And to be honest, that really should be it. And that really is it for this video. This patch is in many ways a reset of BfA, with the very notable exception of the essences. And it's pretty much a fresh start if that's what you want to do. So there you go. I hope you found this video useful. Let me know what you're doing for 8.3. Are you actually excited for 8.3? What are you actually looking forward to in the new patch? Do let me know down below. And with that, I will see you next time.